we're looking at there is a Traytrex elliptical horn, incredibly great design by a company called Faital. Hi, I'm Jared Doyle, Doyle Audio Engineering, and I want to take the opportunity to introduce you to our new line of speakers. This is called the ARM101. Utilizes a 10-inch speaker with a 1-inch top-end driver. Now, I'll start with one of the best features about this particular cabinet is its extreme flexibility. It can be used in a really wide variety of different applications, and this was the whole key and concept of this particular product, so that when you make an investment into it, that it can do a lot of different jobs for you. You can, whatever it is, whether it be an installation, or whether it be on tour, or whether it work as a monitor or a PA, it can do a lot. Now, I'm going to show you what is probably one of the most obvious features. Here we have the grill off. I will show you here, that's the standard metal grill that we're using. And it comes with acoustic foam on the back of it so that it is resistant to any type of moisture damage. Of course, that being said, if any of you have looked at our other videos on Faital, you can pour water into this cone and not have an issue with it. Again, Faital is such an incredible speaker. They sound absolutely brilliant. In fact, let me show you real quickly here. This box, this is how it came to us via the delivery company. Won't mention who it is. And normally speaking, I would have been worried about it, but it's Faital. Here's the horn of this particular one here. You can see the vents in it. The vanes is just super strong, really great horn. I'll do a whole segment on horns later. Don't want to get too lost in the horn, but essentially Faital, again, great component. Now, in this you'll see that there's 3 different horns that we have here. Here we have one that is a 90 by 70 horn. Here we have a horn that's approximately a 70 by 50 horn, narrower dispersion. And here we have an asymmetrical horn. Now, I'll talk to you real briefly about dispersion. This is a very important thing for you to understand. For those of you that are in the music industry, you already understand and know what control of dispersion is. For those of you that don't, let me explain it to you and understand how important it is. Dispersion is how wide the sound wave comes from the speaker. That's the layman's terms to best understand it. And for you to be able to get an idea as to what you actually need, what you can do is go to the stage that you are on, or where the podium is that may be from where you need to be heard. Imagine your sound system up to the left and right of your stage, and take a look out from the speaker's point of view as to where you want the sound waves to go. Now, what's critical about this is that a sound wave coming out of a speaker cabinet, if it's too wide a dispersion, it'll bounce off of the wall and then hit the listener. And the problem with that is that you have the initial sound wave that goes to the listener, and then one that's a longer distance because it bounces off the wall into the listener, and the listener gets what we call an out-of-phase type of problem. In a nutshell, what it means is it's distortion. It doesn't sound as clean or as clear as you would like for it to sound. In certain rooms, especially rooms like churches and auditoriums and schools, you've got a big problem where frequently the walls are brick. It's never designed by an acoustic engineer, these rooms, and you get a lot of sound waves bouncing and an echoing type of thing where the voice and the sound is not clear. Now we go to horn dispersion. This is what's critical about this. If you can stand in the front of that stage and stretch your arms out, and imagine where you want the sound wave, your voice, to go to the back of the room. And now imagine where you want it to go to the front of the room. And you realize that in the front, it's a wider dispersion than the back. This is where this particular horn is very critical and extremely useful. It's called an asymmetrical horn. It has a 60 degree at the top, 90 degree at the front, controlling your sound waves better than a wider style of horn. And sometimes you'll want a wide style of horn. Sometimes you'll want a horn that's a narrower beam like this one, or a wider beam like this one, or a horn like this where you got both styles, both control. Again, it's control of your dispersion. The other nice thing about this particular cabinet is that the horns rotate. All of them rotate, they're square. So you can set up your horn in an installation like so. Let's take a look at this one here. This cab is the same version of this, or same model of this, but it is the installation version. In this particular case, and in a lot of the things that we do, we can custom build, because each cab is built by hand and right in line with our distributors, representatives in the United States. Great bunch of people, by the way. They're called One Way Audio. Joe, Doug, and Matt are really good, decent people. We're very proud to have and be working with them. We've got great communication, so we can understand how to custom build and put in the options that are optimum for the installation, whatever it may be. Here you've got a cabinet that might be sitting like this, and then you've got another cabinet that can also stack like this. And that's the virtue of having the horn, that the horn can be rotated, and the virtue of having a different dispersion of horn. If you can imagine, you may want something where lower down, closer to the front of your stage, you want a wider dispersion, and as it goes back a little bit, the dispersion narrows, and then maybe it narrows even further if it's a very long haul, and then you could be using that horn there in this particular cabinet here in that configuration where it's turned around. So again, flexibility in this particular cabinet is what we find is really, really critical. Here's another point I want to bring up. You see the bolt point there, and the bolt point at the top here. So this cab can be used with a U-bracket for be it a club install where there's a small low ceiling. Again, this is really critical for this particular kind of application. Or this particular model has also 2 points here, so it can actually be hung like this as well. Now, I want to talk to you briefly about the shape. Here, the shape of this is what we call symmetrical. And what's critical about that, and I know all of you audio engineer guys that are doing touring immediately know where we're going with this, and of course it's that you can put two horns like this so that the high frequencies couple. For those vocalists that's just saying, I can't hear myself, especially when I scream. Now, we didn't put jacks on the end of cabinets. You'll see a lot of cabinets like this, but the jacks are always at the end. That would make it difficult if you want to use the same cabinet for the PA application. So the solution was to simply put two jack plates in here. So depending on what angle you're on, you can use either jack plate. So that's it. I think I've covered most of the things about this and the features about this particular cabinet. It sounds really, really beautiful. Of course, you'll never be able to hear that unless you actually go and listen to it. Please feel free to contact us if you've got any questions. This is just a really, really nice line of and a really good design. Very, very flexible, very, very cost effective, and using the Faital components. We at Doyle Audio Engineering actually have never sounded better, I hope. It's a really, really great product. We're very proud of it, and we're also extremely proud of the people that are now representing us in the United States, which is One Way Audio. Again, from my heart, really, really decent, honest people, and they're like myself. I do this because I love it, because the crew that I'm with are like family, and it's a family-owned company. And we want to just simply build something that we can be very, very proud of forever. So hopefully you see something in here that you like. Any questions, feel free to call us, Doyle Audio Engineering, and or give One Way Audio a call as well. All the best for now. Thanks very much. Take care. Great, great.